Welcome back, True Seeker. It is Friday, May 20th, 2023, and I want to go over some of the top headlines. Martin Amis, famous author, dies the exact same day that the Cannes Film Festival premieres the movie based on his book from 2014. Dead on the same day that, again, the novel he wrote turned into a movie. That movie premieres at the Cannes Film Festival. Again, you pay attention in entertainment, these types of things happen pretty often. A really clear example to understand was when Coolio died on the 46-year anniversary of Stevie Wonder's song Pastime Paradise coming out. Of course, that was the big sample for Coolio's hit song Gangsta's Paradise. But again, just all these major league coincidences. Martin Amis died May 19th, as we'll get to. Of course, that was the day we got the news of Jim Brown passing. He'd reportedly died the day earlier, but the news broke on May 19th. That night, Miami had a big upset in Boston by the numbers, led by Jimmy Butler. Jim Butler, a lot like Jim Brown. But remember, Jim Brown, he's also connected to this one night in Miami that brought Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, and more together. And we'll get to how in Gematria Muhammad Ali equals 87, the man that brought all those other men together, the biggest star of his time, Muhammad Ali. But again, the news announced on Malcolm X's birthday that Jim Brown was dead. They met on the 56th day of the year. The one night in Miami was February 25th, the 56th day of the year. If you're new here, very special number. We'll get to how Jim Brown died 56 days before his retirement anniversary. And again, Jim Brown, who made his name in Cleveland with the Cleveland Browns. Talked about these things yesterday if you missed yesterday's video. But Jim Butler of Miami, look at the score last night. 111 to 105. What's that add up to? 216? Is that like the Cleveland area code? 216, where Jim Brown made his name? Remember when LeBron won it for Cleveland, the last game in Cleveland, Game 6. 216 combined points in the game. Always a big tribute in Cleveland, 216. And again, who's Jimmy Butler's real dad? Is it Mike? Is it I want to be like Mike? Anyway, well, we'll talk more about that because remember, it's been 59 years since Jim Brown won the championship for the Browns. 59 years. 59-87. That number, 59-87. That's how many points Michael Jordan scored in his playoff career. Could be Jimmy Butler's pops. But, yeah, there was one thing in my Jim Brown presentation that I skipped yesterday that I'd already had written down, and I meant to cover that, so we'll go back and review Jim Brown's death, and I'll hit you with the thing that I should have had yesterday. It further connects to Cleveland and how perfect it all is, and again, from Cleveland to L.A., all the rituals from Tupac to Odell Beckham to the latest with LeBron and Jim Brown. We'll also talk about the funny thing about Zelensky being in Hiroshima at age 45. Of course, Hiroshima was bombed in 45. And today being exactly 450 days after the Russia-Ukraine war began on February 24th, 450. There's something else real interesting about Zelensky that fits in with the Hiroshima bombing ritual. Actually, there's more than one thing. We'll get to it. We'll also talk about how Bob Baffert just had a horse euthanized. It's his first time back with one of the Triple Crown races since the Medina Spirit disqualification. And then you'll recall Medina Spirit died after the race in a big Jesuit ritual, dying on the 201st day of the Ignatian year when we called the Kentucky Derby for Medina Spirit based on the 201 ritual it had going. But anyhow, Bob Baffert's back from his suspension. And what do you know? One of his horses is dead. First day back. They made a point how last week, remember, 4 horses died before the Kentucky Derby and then 4 died after. So a total of 8 horses, and the horse that won was Mage, wearing the number 8. And now the big story today is that Baffert could win his 8th Preakness. And now we got a dead horse in the 6th race of the day that's Bob Baffert's. So we'll look at all these things and hopefully, again, further dissolve coincidence theory because it's a symptom that a lot of people have. A lot of people just think this stuff that goes on every day is just coincidence after coincidence. Oh, that's just got to be a coincidence. And the reason they do that is because they don't want to think that there's something that could be so evil out there that's making this not a coincidence. And that's what people need to wake up to, because we are governed over by evil people. The people who control our media, our government, our food system, they are evil people. And humanity needs to wake up to that and overthrow and overcome the evil. Stop participating in their game day after day as we do. But anyhow, let's start right here. Martin Amis, famous author, dead yesterday, May 19th. And here's an article that was written just before it was announced he was dead. The Zone of Interest Review. Jonathan Glazer adapts Martin Amis's chilling Holocaust drama. So, again, this is written in the day. Then later that same day, Martin Amis is dead. And notice, he died May 19th, 2023. Date was 67 numerology. We brought up this number yesterday in regards to why Jim Brown's death was announced on this day. But notice his full name, Martin Lewis Amos, 67, like blood sacrifice, like human sacrifice. If you come back to this article right here, written by The Guardian, excuse me, I got allergies testing me right now. A single satanic joke burns through the celluloid in Jonathan Glazer's technically brilliant Uneasy Holocaust movie, freely adapted by the director from the novel by Martin Amis. And Martin Amis was described as being demonic in his writing career. Again, he produced a lot of novels. And ends up dying on a day that we've seen so many celebrities. Again, Kobe Bryant, another guy who died on a 67 date numerology, and it's a long list. It's a long list. Prince died in a big 67 ritual. R.I.P. But anyhow, dead on 67 date numerology. Martin Lewis Amos, 67, like blood sacrifice, like human sacrifice. A pattern we have talked about for a decade straight now. It's one of the first things I caught on to when I started this research. And again, satanic equals 67. And then Jonathan Glazer, the director, who just adapted his book into a film that just premiered the same day he died, from Jonathan Glazer's March 26th birthday to the author's death, he died on Glazer's 55th day of his age. Satan, 55. The 1 month and 24 days is interesting as well, because the film company is A24. A is the first letter, so A in Gematria is 124, A24, 124. The 7 weeks and 6 days is also interesting because this is the 76th Cannes Film Festival. And in light of Martin Amis dying at age 73, as we've talked about so many times, Sacrifice 73, like Ritual Sacrifice 73, in this case, Cannes Film Festival 73, again, where his film was premiering. And one of the characters, the Jewish Holocaust survivor in his book, The Zone of Interest, Sondar Commando, that Gematria is 73, which I also find interesting. Again, that's the film that premiered was about that book. And from his own birthday, he's born August 25th. Born August 25th, 1949. From his own birthday to his death, 38 weeks later. Again, I didn't even put any Gematria screenshots up here because we've talked about it so many times. Murder by Numbers, the E changed to the 3, the B to the 8, 3-8. Murder by Numbers, the song came out in 83, The Reflection. Sandra Bullock, 83. The film released 38 weeks after her birthday, while she was in her 38th year of life. Words like killing, death, R.I.P., Gematria, English, Kabbalah, Jew, murder. They all have the Gematria 38. And yeah, there's more to say about that movie poster. But again, just following the familiar themes, the same groups of numbers that come together so often in these suspicious celebrity deaths. We know who runs the show, the Jesuit order. That's why we're on the Catholic Church's calendar, speaking their language, and all these rituals are synced up so perfectly as they have been since the 16th century. But yeah, notice Zone of Interest overlap with Society of Jesus. And notice also this. Again, this film festival's in France, where the Jesuits were created, where the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry came to power. He's dead 153 days after the Pope's birthday. The Illuminati 153 like Holy Bible, the same gang that uses the Bible like it's a playbook. He died on 13/9, The Bavarian Illuminati equals 139, like Freemasonry equals 139 and 58. The director's 58 years old. You could also say he died 54 days after the director's birthday instead of his 55th day of his age. Again, Bavaria's 54, like Jesuit order. The Jesuit order founded the Bavarian Illuminati in Bavaria. Again, Adam Weishaupt, the Jesuit, founded it. And again, Bavarian Illuminati 188. This death came 188 days after the Superior General's birthday, the leader of the Jesuits. So I don't think there's any question about who's behind the ritual and who's responsible for the death. And just to remind people about other familiar numbers, Hitler took power in 1933 and then, again, modeled the SS after the Jesuit order, and then the first concentration camp was opened on March 22nd. So, big coincidence, number one today, Martin Amis. And then, again, big coincidence number two, again, Jim Brown's death, announced on Malcolm X's birthday, when those two names came together in Miami. And then again on that same night, Miami Heat, or the big sports story, Jim Brown coming from the world of sports, with Jimmy Butler still in the show. And you see how Jimmy Butler wears the number 22? Yesterday's date numerology was 22. Of course, there's 22 men on a football field, 11 on 11. But Miami got their 22nd road win of the season yesterday. And Jimmy Butler's done really... It's funny, if you look into Jimmy Butler's playoff history, he's terrible at home against Boston and awesome on the road against Boston. He became 8-3 yesterday on the road in Boston. As we know, football 83, murder 83. But he got his 8th road win in Boston on the 19th. 19th, the 8th prime. His coach, Eric Spoelstra, also became 8-8 as a head coach in the playoffs in Boston. Eric Spoelstra is at 500 in Boston, became 8-8 on the 19th of the month, 19, the 8th prime. Again, and don't forget, we talked about how Jim Brown died in L.A. the day prior on the 213th day of the NBA season in the 213 area code. And then again, Cleveland's the 216 area code, or 216, and 216 points in the game the day of his death. Muhammad Ali in Gematria, most simple cipher, 87. Or hold on. My bad, you guys. I'm tripping. Muhammad's 74. We predicted his death at 74. It's Muslims what I'm thinking with Muhammad Ali. I've talked about some 87 stuff with Muhammad Ali in the past. It's Muslim that's 87. So, and just from his name going from Cassius Clay to Ali, notice how they stuck that 59 on it, also that 22. So, anyhow. If you're new here, 56, huge number with Black history, Black Lives Matter 56, Black Power 56, a lot of rituals with that number over the years. Again, the one night in Miami was on the 56th day of the year. Black Lives Matter 56, Miami Heat 56, and Jim Brown died 56 days before July 13th, the anniversary of him retiring in 66. And Jim Brown died on 66 date numerology. Again, that's the 11th triangular number, like how football is a game of 11 on 11. So the thing I forgot to cover yesterday with Jim Brown, we hit almost everything, but just to recover in case you missed yesterday's stream. He died on his 91st day of his age, or 13 weeks into his age. Played for the Browns. Browns 91. 91's the 13th triangular number. Dead in L.A. Cleveland and L.A. are connected through football because the Rams started out in Cleveland, who are now in L.A. L.A. won Super Bowl 56 on 2-1-3. Jim Brown dies on the 213th day of the NBA season. LeBron was cheering on Odell to come over, like how he went from Cleveland to L.A. Odell left on his birthday for L.A., the day leaving 56 days left in the year before he won Super Bowl 56. But, again, James 87, Jim Brown's real first name, just like LeBron James, who has the Cleveland-L.A. connection. But here's what I wanted to show. The day that Jim Brown died, the Lakers lost to Denver, and they stayed on 78 wins in the conference finals. James Brown, or Jim Brown's full name, James Nathaniel Brown, 78. Cleveland, 78. Like the year Zelensky was born. Remember, special number 78. Jesuit, 78. Scottish Rite, 78. The Jesuits credited Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. That's why they share the Admirum de Gloriam logo, or not logo, motto at the 32nd degree, and in the Jesuit logo, they have the 32 sun rays. Again, Jim Brown died 112 days before the upcoming start of the season. Jim Brown does equal 112. Big Super Bowl number. The Browns team that he played for is not the same one in Cleveland anymore, if you didn't know that. It's the team that's now in Baltimore, the Ravens. And remember, the Ravens have had a lot of deaths this offseason, including Jerry Richardson, who was drafted by Baltimore in 58 when the upcoming Super Bowl is 58. Talked about his death at 86, going with Las Vegas. So, Jim Brown, his death synced with the NBA, with the NFL, and that's what we see year after year. How these deaths show that all these sports leagues are being controlled by the same groups, plotting the same types of rituals by the same code, thus the Illuminati. And again, the day that they saved the news for was the day leaving 226 days left in the year, Cleveland, Ohio, 226, again, where Jim Brown made his name. He's dead while LeBron's 38, the number of death. And they're now calling the Lakers Arena the Crypt, again, where you put the bodies under the church. So, Zelensky, Russia, Ukraine. Remember, there's been a lot of nuclear scares since the whole, supposed war started. And we predicted a lot of the dates in advance that the nuclear scares would happen. Last year on the anniversary of Hiroshima, the United Nations nuclear inspector said that there is a real credible threat for a nuclear disaster with what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. So now they got to send Zelensky to G7 in Hiroshima this year, right? While he's 45... Like how, again, and don't forget, this guy was an actor, right? This guy was an actor, and then he had a show that was about what's going on now. It's such a joke. And remember, all the big tech companies have made it real clear, don't dare speak against Ukraine. Don't dare question anything going on over there. Just, stand by and let your government print out more money and send even more over there and put you further in debt. And you just zip your lips and don't say a word. That's been the policy from big tech, and then all of our American politicians who've done absolutely nothing about the censorship going on with big tech, but they've gone against communist Chinese TikTok. Like, that's the problem. Like, the problem isn't the censorship and the violating of the First Amendment. But anyway, look at Volodymyr Zelensky's name. 86, like the Hiroshima date, 8-6, right? Today's 115 days after Zelensky's birthday. Nuclear's 115. You could also say it's his 116th day of his age. Nuclear war's 116. It's also 154 days after the Pope's birthday. And again, you just wonder what chapter they're foreshadowing next with this, right? Again, for the world wars, there were affairs taking place before a lot more nations got involved. And right now, the world's just witnessing the headlines of Russia, Ukraine, while Zelensky calls for more people to get involved, more money, more engagement from more nations. Anyway, just the fact that they have to send him to Hiroshima, and just think about it. Again, he's 45 years old, and today is exactly 450 days after the supposed war began, on February 24th. And remember, that's the day in history the Gregorian calendar debuted. And it was all synced up in the huge Jesuit Catholic Church rituals we predicted back then. Again, we predicted what day it would break out before it even happened. So yeah, Zelensky, Mr. 86. And this is the 49th G7. The square root of 49 is 7. So we'll see what comes out of that. First G7 was in 75, New World Order number. And then there were 8 horses in the Preakness, and then one got removed. So it's down to 7. And we'll see what that means for Bob Baffert, who's trying to win his 8th. And again, 8 horses died in the week of the Kentucky Derby. The horse with the 8 on it won. So does the 8 thing continue for Baffert? He's got the second favorite horse. Personally, there's a horse with longer odds that has a little bit more interesting numbers, but Bob Baffert had one of his horses euthanized today in the 6th race. Having a Meltdown was the name of the horse, and it had to be euthanized in the Chick Lang Stakes. So what stands out to me is how the horse's name matches the stakes that it was euthanized in. And then, the numerology of 53 is 8, so His horse that got injured and was put down was supposed to win the race. It was the favorite, but instead it died. So we'll see what that means. And again, Medina Spirit, you guys. Medina Spirit died on December 6th after winning the Kentucky Derby before being disqualified, but it still paid out on the bets. We liked Medina Spirit a lot that year with the 20-1 odds and the huge 201 ritual. But again, just reminding that the Jesuits run this whole show. Medina Spirit died on the 201st day of the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year. And again, they call it the Run for the Roses, which is 201, like the Jesuit order, like Order of Illuminati. And again, just if you're new here, for the new person, the Jesuit Order 201, the founder of the Jesuits is Ignatius of Loyola 201, the first Jesuit Pope is Jorge Mario Bergoglio, who's Pope Francis, the first to live in Suite 201, huge number at the Jesuits. So, again, I mean, when we're already pointing out for years that the Jesuits are doing this, and then things like that happen, it should persuade more people to be like, okay, they got to be right. The horse is just dead on the 201st day of the Ignatian year. And the day the horse died, December 6th, 126, 126 is the max weight for a jockey in the Triple Crown horse races. Symbolic numbers. 126, 201. Numbers that are biblical, too. Again, the Holy Bible 201, man-made in Genesis 126, Kobe dead in the huge 201 ritual on 126 at age 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass on the Pope's 41st day of his age. I mean, for the people who are still arguing that it's some other entity in the world that's controlling what we're getting in the news and media and sports, I mean, these people are just ignoring the facts. And again, you listen to these other people who blame it on other things like Israel, and again, like, okay, nothing's synced with Netanyahu. It's not synced up with the Hebrew calendar. You know, I mean, that's the problem. Too many people are relying on their beliefs and their opinions and not doing the actual research and investigation and stacking the evidence like we do day after day. And again, it's logical what we're putting out. Again, we're on a calendar that's named after a pope. 16th century, language, calendar, everything that's become of the world, the English language, this calendar. These rituals going on worldwide. I mean, who else could you point to? So, anyhow, that's all I got for now, True Seeker. And let me check in with the chat real quick, see if anybody else has any other observations. Was John F. Kennedy a puppet? Highly likely. He met with the Pope on July 2nd, dead a span of 144 days later. And again, those numbers are all over the place. Jesuit order 144 and 72. Catholic 35 and 46. He was born on the 149th day of the year, the 35th prime. Became the nation's first Catholic president, number 35. Supposedly dead at age 46. Then you get Joe Biden, again elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. The second Catholic, number 46. And just notice how President Biden, 144 and 72. JFK meets with the Pope on 7-2. Dead a span of 144 days later. President Biden 144-72, just like Jesuit order. So, yeah, I don't think you get into the Oval Office in the Jesuit control. And for people who are new here, understand how important 144 is. I mean, huge time number, huge biblical number coded on this nation, the United States of America. The Jesuit fingerprints all over this nation from the beginning. The thing about so many of these horse deaths, though, is they're saying they're from racing accidents, but, I mean, you can see the ritualism of what's really going on. It's like when Medina Spirit died, they didn't put in the headline, Medina Spirit sacrificed in Jesuit 201 ritual. They said it died from whatever they said it died from. From learning this, it's just like I made the point before. You know, in the week that I was lobbying people to support more, so we go out to the Kentucky Derby and educate in real time. I reminded people they're not just killing human beings by the car; they're even killing horses. I said, just watch what will happen when the Kentucky Derby comes around. Sure enough, Sammy says DeSantis' son's name is Mason. Go figure. Figures. DeSantis born in 78 as well. Yeah. So anyway, we can keep this one short and sweet, you guys. Appreciate everyone who hits the like and the share. Thank you to everyone who supports the work. And shout out to somebody who sent a Cash App. Let me see. Let's see. Was it one of the usual suspects? Let's see. It was Sarah Sutherland. Thank you again, Sarah. I appreciate it. Yeah, again, if we can get the subscriber count on the Patreon back up to where it was a year ago, you guys would make my life a lot easier over here. I got a sweet lady who's grilling me every day. She's like, I can't believe you're going to go back out there August 24th. I can't believe you're going to go back to New York for September 11th. And the reason her whole perspective's like that is not because she doesn't think it's important. She just sees that just, you know, when I go out and do these things, it makes support go down, which I still can't explain. But there's got to be somebody out there who sympathizes. So if you do, again, everybody who pledges $1 a month, thank you so much. And yeah, what's going to be nice this year about... I'm looking forward to Kobe Bryant Day, because I know what line I wasn't using when we were just out there a few weeks back that I need to be saying. And plus, we'll have some nice printed material this time. And then same thing for New York, September 11th. Some nice printed material. I think we're going to be way more effective than last time. And hopefully we get even more people out there. So, all right, True Seeker, we'll leave it there for now. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and share. Please hit the like on the way out. Help this video find some more strangers' eyes. And until next time.